Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Casper, the boy diviner, here today doing a little walkthrough of the philosophy card. I've always been interested in philosophy. There are a lot of things I wanted to learn about philosophy. I thought this year would be the year, but it's not the year, okay? Because of procrastination, because of other things I want to do, and because of bad planning maybe, I haven't been able to read the books I wanted to read about philosophy. All the beginner books that, I've put on my list. But at the same time, this was my attempt to also combine two different worlds and get to know philosophy better. And that's why I backed the philosophy cards on Kickstarter. There were a few niggles here and there. She was a first-time creator. But overall, the deck creation and the deck production went really smoothly. I don't think there were any huge problems. Small niggles just up front right here, and she knows about them, she's aware, is that like the font is a bit too small in the guidebook. So she's provided a PDF with the full size, so you can read it on your computer. And there are some production issues with the deck itself for me. I don't think it affected everyone because I watched Aquamarine 18's walkthrough of this deck and I don't think she has the same issue as me. It's just one issue, just one card. That's why I'm a bit reluctant to reach out to Melanie to talk about it. But I don't really want to spend shipping for one card all the way here if I have to pay for it, and I don't know how much it costs for her to do that. And she is a first-time creator. I don't know how much she's making off this deck. I don't know. I have a lot of niggles about that, a lot of feelings, but we'll see. I don't know anything about philosophy, so sometimes when looking at the title versus what it's supposed to be, I don't feel that connection. That is on me. That is for me to read the guidebook about and to understand deeper into these world cards. She calls it the world cards because you replace the major arcana with world cards. I also have some issues, not issues, like regular tarot reader issues with the choosing of the pips. So for example, the suit of will is the suit of wands, the suit of emotion is the suit of cups, which makes sense, the suit of reasons instead of the suit of swords, and then the suit of action instead of suit of pentacles. You see, I see action more as wands. We'll get there. We'll talk about the suits after that when we go into the actual suits in this deck. There's something about the cardbacks also that is hypnotizing, but I don't know why it's like designed this way. I know there is some philosophy reason behind it, but I can't remember. So you might want to check out her Kickstarter campaign. Maybe she explains it a little better. Let's go through this and my thoughts as a regular tarot reader, not knowing much about philosophy, okay? Aquamarine 18 already says that some of the majors here makes her smile. I see a smile. I see her smiling throughout her walkthrough. I also feel like I vaguely remember her saying that it makes sense to her, so that's good. I'm going to talk about whether it makes sense for a normal tarot reader. Can we use this? So let's see. A painter kind of makes sense if it was more the canvas than the painter, I feel. The painter makes me think about the magician instead because they're making that change, but I do like the imagery here. The art is beautiful. The agent. I do see this as the magician because you're the agent, you're the one that gets to do things, you're the one that pushes things forwards, and I really like the imagery. The majors here are one of my favorites compared to the minors. The minors feel a bit unfinished for me specifically, but I'm okay with them. I accept them for what they are. The free spirit for High Priestess, I generally see the free spirit more as the fool, but I think here it does make sense based on the imagery. Again, I don't know anything about philosophy, so I don't know if the free spirit represents or means something specific to the High Priestess. The Dionysian, Dionysian. So again, you see, I don't know anything about philosophy, but I can see this as the Empress, I guess. There's a few printing stuff going on here. Okay, it could be rubbed off, so that's good. The Apollonian. I do like this imagery. I feel like he's draped in some kind of monk robe, so I do think about the Hierophant when I see this, but it is the Emperor, which kind of makes sense because I think of Apollo. Sisyphus. I do know the myth of Sisyphus. I don't know if I connect that to the Hierophant. I really am interested to read this more to understand it better. The Hierophant represents education, knowledge, progress, belief systems, and conformity. Okay, I don't really see the connection when I'm reading this, but maybe that's because I haven't used it yet. The Other for number 6. I don't know if I see this for the lovers, but again, I'm interested to see the guidebook. The Architect is number 7. Number 8, I really like this imagery here. So I feel like number 8 is strength here. Let's just be clear and check. So she uses strength for 8. and Metamorphosis does make some sense to strength. I do feel it just based on the word, so I'm glad and I'm happy with this. Zarathustra. I really like this term, and I've seen it everywhere. I just don't know anything much about it. But Zarathustra, I think, is down here she says, right, he's a prophet that faced a very important task. I've been reading a light novel called The Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, and it does talk about Zarathustra as well. I like this imagery. The Abzad, beautiful, beautiful art. The Eternal Return for Justice. The Orphan, oh, I love this card. The Orphan for Hanged Man, that's so interesting. Le Mort, I can't pronounce this properly in the French way, but I do see the little illusion of or implied snake in him. Throneness, what an interesting word for temperance. I really like this imagery. I feel there's a sense of herself throwing herself into the air. The Madman for 15. That's so interesting. Let's look at why the Madman. So instead of devil, they chose Madman. Okay. Interesting. The death of God. So the devil, okay. I do see some allusion to that, and I really like that. 16 nausea. Instead of the tower, nausea, I do feel that connection also in that kind of in the pit of your stomach, feeling something. 17, the spotlight. 18, this is one of the production issues. This was cut way too far, and you can see the border is really strange. This is the card that I don't know if I want to ask for a replacement. I still am thinking about it, the situation. So interesting. So instead of the moon where it's like anxiety is underneath everything, I feel like there's also a difference between my understanding of the traditional tarot versus her understanding, which is interesting. New Dawn, Sun, that makes sense. Hammer, instead of Judgment. I kind of feel like this makes sense. I don't know why, but it intuitively makes sense to me. Authenticity. A brilliant card, I think. So the majors, I don't have any problem except for that production. I don't really understand it well enough, so I can't comment on how it fits, the imagery and everything, but I really like the art. So when I bought this deck, it's because of the majors art, and we did ask for some minors. The first thing they showed us during the campaign was the court cards, but again, like I talked in my Kickstarter tips videos, creators, please show us like one of your pips, because that is really important to us. We are not sure if you're gonna just draw like 5 flames or something and call it a day, you know? Nothing wrong with that. It just should be upfront so we know about it. So let's go to Will first. So Will is wands, and it's fire, so it does make sense because there are flames here that make you think of fire. So wands makes sense. Will 1, Will 2, Will 3. So some of these, even though the art is beautiful, some of these feel a bit similar. They are all human figures with a number of flames around them. So what I can use the RWS to read this and try to understand it myself. But you know, I want to understand why these figures are this way. So I'm just looking through the deck. It doesn't really explain why the art and the meaning corresponds, which is a bit disappointing. Will 4, Will 5. So this, like, five of wands to me is conflict, you know, fighting, internal conflict within your mind maybe. But he's smiling, he looks serene. So interesting. Let's take a look at the book and see why. You see, in traditional tarot, 5 of wands represents competition, disagreement, yes. Will 5 represents the competitive nature of the gaze of the other and the diligence needed to remain in accordance with our own gaze. This is very philosophical. I don't really understand it. So again, if you know more about philosophy, feel free to explain this to me. But this doesn't feel competitive to me. This feels serene, the art-wise. 6 of Will is victory. It makes sense to me. 7 of Will is defending yourself. I do feel like this guy is some sort of martyr, and there are streams of smoke, so it does feel like he's being pelted with fire. That's okay. 8 of Will is about speed, right? I don't really see speed here. Again, when I'm saying it represents speed, this is based on my understanding of the tarot, not what I read in the book yet, because I have not finished reading the book. But I just want to give you guys a walkthrough before I use this deck so that I don't have to rearrange everything again, you know. 9 will, 10 will. I think most of the 10s are just faces with the pips. Not too sure of how I feel about it. I just accept it, you know. I'm not like overjoyed by that. I'm not super disappointed by that, but I do feel like the 10s are like the embodiment of the whole suit, either the ace or the 10, so there should be more, I don't know. Page of will, Knight of will. So you can see some of the production issues, like but this would happen sooner or later, so it's not really a big issue. I just wanted to show you guys. Queen of will. So there's a difference between like all the court cards, how he drew the faces versus like the majors or the other cards, and I don't know if I enjoy it. I just feel like it's a bit different. First off, emotion 1. Let's look at emotion 10. Yeah, so I think when looking at things like that, like this, I do feel happy. I feel like I noticed something that maybe was intended, and I enjoy these two cards so much more now. So again, whatever criticism I have, it could be because I'm uneducated, because I don't know, because I was blind during the walkthrough. Feel free to just comment and say, hey, do you notice A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Do you notice this and that made the deck so much deeper? And seeing this, I feel like I understand the deck so much more now. There's a sense of growth when you're looking at 1 and 10. And I was talking about how 1 and 10 should be the embodiment of the suit, and this just proves to me that there is some thought behind the imagery here that I really appreciate. Okay, emotion 2. I do kind of wish there was one more person here, because 2 of emotion is 2 of cups. Usually there's one more person that is really showing that. And 3 of emotion is about friendship also. I wish I saw that here. 4 of emotion, the flowers being their spine. Him closing his eyes, not looking at the opportunities around him. 5 of emotion, spilled milk. Don't know if I see that here. 6 of emotion. 7 of emotion. 8 of emotion. I like this face. You see, this one of like, this is what I hope to see. The 9 of emotion. 10 of emotion. Again, with the first card in the emotion suit. Yeah, I can't wait to dive into this. To be honest, I feel like this would really help me connect with the deck. I have faith in this book that Melanie wrote. So yeah, see, with the others, I do wish that it was the other actually pictured in the deck. Page of emotion. Do you see what I'm talking about with the difference in the faces? Queen of emotion and the King of emotion. I think the emotion court cards are one of my favorites in this deck so far. So reason. Reason is swords. And this trips me up because when I'm looking at reason, this is what I'm talking about with the suit stuff. When I see reason with stones, I think about pentacles. And when I see action with stars, I think about swords, because the star is in the air, right? Instead, action is actually pentacles, and reason is swords. So that is a disjunct for me. That makes it harder for me to read, and that's again on me. But I don't know if the author thought through that, or you know, I think they did. I think Melanie did. I just don't feel comfortable. So I just have to let you guys know, because this will trip me up, and I believe if you are a traditional tarot reader, if you're reading with the RWS, I think there are a lot of decks outside that make the stone the pentacles. I know there are some traditions, playing card traditions, where the spades are earth and the coins are fire. So if you do that and you read this with that lens, I think this deck wouldn't be out of the norm. At the same time, I don't know if I don't know if that's the thought that came here, because when you read here, reason, mental clarity, all this relates to swords, you know, and not the same Ace of Spades kind of reading. But again, just to let you guys know, that's so that if you buy this deck, you know what's up. Okay, 1 of reason. I really like this card. Let's look at the 10 of reason. Yes. This works so much. 2 faces. I love this. Okay, so now I take back a lot of what I said about the minors, I guess, in some sense, because I really enjoy the 1 and the 10s, including the emotions one that I showed earlier. 2 of reason. I really like the face. I really like there are 2 stones and he's holding it. This does allude to me to both the pentacle and the sword suit, because the pentacle he's juggling and the swords he's holding too. I guess if the eyes were closed, it makes a lot more sense for RWS readers. Again, but this is again not a RWS based deck. It is a philosophy deck. It is its own thing. So again, guys, don't be upset with me for not learning a new system. I'm just letting other RWS readers know that this is not our RWS deck, okay? This is basically where I'm coming from. I'm willing to learn a new system and I'm excited to learn this deck. Reason 3, Reason 4, Meditation, Rest. This alludes to the RWS Sword suit. 5 of Reason, 6 Reason, 7 Reason. I like this one a lot. 7 Reason, I like it a lot. This alludes to the 5 of Swords for me, because the 5 of Swords, someone is taking away the swords, but this could also work as the 7 of Swords, I guess, you know. 8 of Reason, Reason 9, and then Reason 10. Page of Reason, the Knight of Reason, Queen of Reason, and the King of Reason. I like how he's holding it out. But normally the chords for the swords aren't that giving, so you know, that is not what I would think. I would kind of see that as a Pentacles naturally. Happy to learn and work with this deck more to get those suits right. Action 1. Let's look at Action 10. Sorry, now I'm really enjoying comparing this. So Action 1, they are looking up at this one soul star. Action 10, he's looking down closing because he has the stars within him already. I like that. Okay, let's continue with Action 2. See, this has their eyes closed. This makes me think about the 2 of Swords, but it is the 2 of Pentacles. 3, Action 3, Action 4, Action 5. All of the action figures are closing their eyes, which is so interesting because action implies looking at what you're doing and you know, doing it. 6 of Action, 7 of Action. 7 of Action is always about waiting, anticipation, and I do see a bit of this in the face. 8 of Action, looking up. It's not what I really see for the 8 of Pentacles, but there might be a reason and it might be in the book. Let's take a look. 8 of Action. Education, active engagement. Yes, I was expecting to see something active. At the same time, when you read this with Action 8, active engagement in the present benefits future goals. Yep, all this makes sense. I just don't see that in the art. 9 of Action. 10 of Action, like you already seen. Page of Action. Knight of Action. The Queen of Action. This one makes me think of the Queen of Swords so much. I don't know why, but this reminds me of the Queen of Swords. Even though it's the Queen of Pentacles who is, you know, giving. I really like the coffee stains here. And then the King of Action. This also makes me think of the King of Swords, which is more unforgiving compared to the King of Pentacles. But if you look at the King of Reason, the King of Reason here seems more generous. But anyway, the card size is a little large, which is okay. I'm trying to get used to large cards because I do work better with larger imagery. So I'm shuffling it, and the shuffling feels good. It is good cardstock. It is, I think it's probably like a superior smooth kind of cardstock. I don't know what core, if there's a core, but shuffling it makes perfect sense. It feels good in the hands, and I'm going to reverse shuffle it now so that you guys can see how it reverse shuffles. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it reverse shuffles well. It's a good size for reverse shuffling. And then let's do a quick test reading here for everyone who's watching this to the end, as usual. Can we get a message for everyone watching this video? A simple piece of advice. Some wisdom if you can share some. One, 2, 3. Okay, so Page of Reason, Reason 1, and the Free Spirit. As your mind grows and you're starting to reason with yourself, sometimes it's good to forget the assumptions you have made from the start so that you can truly be free. Okay, so place your assumption aside when you're having new thought. Don't tell yourself, because this happened before, you know, this is likely what is going to happen. have an open mind, let this idea grow so that you can truly be free. I hope this reading made sense. I hope this card walkthrough made sense. I'm sorry I whined a lot because I think some people were not happy with what I talked about in the primordial video, and that made me feel very uncomfortable to some extent. At the same time, I still want to be true to myself, honest to myself, and with this little reading, I do feel like this is a good start for this deck. I really enjoyed what I read here. And you guys let me know if you have this deck, how you're working with this deck. If you know anything about philosophy, feel free to share it with me. And you guys have a great rest of the day. You take care. Bye!